Well, hi guys, welcome back for another video. It's been a while since we have been able to hang out. My name is Shelby, this is True North Budgets, and my husband Tanner and I are on a journey to pay off our debt, catch up in all of our sinking funds, and just set ourselves up for a bright financial future. So if that journey sounds like something that is interesting to you, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and leave a comment below. But it is very obviously pretty well into November. We are actually coming up on our first November paycheck for this month, and so that means we have our November budget coming up. So Friday will be our first week of November. Technically, I know that that sounds a little funky, but Tanner's last paycheck fell in October, so his next paycheck will start our November budget out. So we're going to go ahead and budget out our income for the month of November. And I actually forgot to get a pretty good estimate for Airbnb income for myself, but I will just try to guess and then we'll go from there. So I'm actually going to pop my budget sheets out and we'll jump right into it. Slide my planner off to the side. I do want to preface with saying that I know I missed the whole month of October, and I do apologize, you guys. Anytime Tanner goes through a schedule change that affects my working hours for work, like for doing Spark, which is what I do for my primary income, or I guess I don't know if you would call Airbnb or Spark my primary income. Those are my two sources of income. But I Spark during Tanner's working hours, typically either during his working hours or during his sleeping hours if he's on a night shift. And when he goes through a schedule change that affects the hours that I work, I really struggle with getting myself into a routine and figuring out where everything fits within the day. And that's kind of what happened in October. I was super busy with the Airbnb. Spark was really busy at the end of the month, and then just trying to figure out where everything fits and all of that. I also have been working on some new products to get those listed. I'm going to be having a Black Friday launch and sale, so that is super exciting. I know that there's a few things on my Etsy store right now. Those products will remain and be part of the sale. I also will be adding new products, so that is super, super exciting. Another huge change that happened in October is that my unemployment actually ended, so I no longer am collecting unemployment. My benefits ran out. With that being said, I'm actually going to restructure how I do cash stuffings too, just for the time being until we can get a little bit better grip on our finances and be in a little bit better position. So for the time being, I'm actually going to be using prop money for all of my stuffings regardless of denomination. So I made these. They're not my favorite. I don't love how they turned out, but I did make them, so I am going to use them. I have every single denomination. So I have 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. I even made larger denominations too. Not that I will need them, but I'm going to be using prop bills for all of my cash stuffings for the near future. I'm hoping to be able to move back into cash soon, but that is very strongly going to depend on our income and all of those things. Tanner may potentially be getting a raise. That's a big if. There's a possibility for a promotion coming up, and they're just waiting to get it approved by the county to see if they can even hire those positions. And if they do, they will be promoting within, like from directly within. And I think that Tanner's going to apply for it. It's not a massive raise. It's also not like a huge increase of duties. It is a little bit, but not like, it's not like a completely different department or anything like that. So yeah, as our income just ebbs and flows, we'll just have to kind of play it by ear. But for right now, I'm going to be doing cashless cash stuffings. So hopefully you guys are willing to stick along with me through this journey. This is just all part of where we're at with our income. Hopefully that's relatable for some of you, that maybe you want to do this process, but you just don't have the buffer to be able to pull cash out every week or every other week or whatever. So hopefully this is a system that could potentially work for you. And you don't even need anything fancy like this. You could just take slips of paper and cut it down to dollar bill size and write the denomination on it and use that to depict how much you have if you need to leave your cash in the bank for a buffer. So that's just going to be where I'm at for the next probably couple of months, honestly. And then, yeah, there's a couple other changes that I've made, but we'll jump into those here in a second. I forgot to look up all of my bills, so let me grab out a previous month. Little spoiler, because you guys will probably see this in my binder, but these little tab dividers are something that will be coming to my shop. Mine in particular, I'll have a few different styles. So these ones are sized differently. So basically it comes out as far as the tab on all of them. And these are considered top aligned tab dividers, or what will be considered top aligned tab dividers in my shop. And then I will also have right aligned tab dividers, and I just need to put labels on mine, but that's something new that will be coming to my shop. So excited. I had a month and then I lost it. So there's that. Mine currently are depicting the quarters. You can really have it say whatever. I'm going to be doing customizable ones. So you get to pick what you want them to say, or if you want them to say anything at all. And then you can buy them in however many you want. So top loading for an A5, which is what I have, a top loading one, I would probably limit at 4. And then a right loading would probably be able to fit like 6. So that's also going to be a little bit of a limitation, but I will figure all of that out as I'm making additional prototypes. So I'm just going to set this additional calendar off to the side so I can kind of copy down the information as we're going through the budget. Okay, that'll work. My workspace right now, you guys, is slightly atrocious, but I will get there. So up first, I did go ahead and put in Tanner's paycheck days. I need to put in my, I don't know if I'm even going to put in Spark because I changed my payout method to the OnePay debit card that they have, and I get paid out daily for that instead of waiting until the week. So I think I'm just going to leave Spark off and just leave it with Tanner's, because I technically cash out every single day that I work. So I think I'm just going to leave that. Off to the side here, I'll bring this up just a little bit. So I do track Tanner's exact paychecks, my Spark exact totals for the week. And then something new that I'm doing right now is that I'm actually working an extra day of Spark each week. So I'm working on Thursdays when I don't normally work Thursdays. And all of that money I'm using for Christmas, because we are in crunch time for Christmas and have not budgeted for it really at all. The wedding just really put us so behind on everything this year. So yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. So everything that I make on Thursdays goes towards Christmas, and I'm going to track that total separately from the rest of it. And then I have an Airbnb section that I'll track all of the money that I make for Airbnb. I know, let's see here. I know I have a couple of payouts coming. I just don't remember the dates, and I forgot to check before I started filming this video, and I need my phone to be able to do that. So I will mark down the exact dates once I get those. But our budget is going to run from November 14th through December 11th. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the calendar with our bills that are coming out. So starting with the 14th, we don't have anything that day. The 15th is my student loan, that's first mark. And then the 16th is gravel. That is my workout subscription app. I'm just gonna set my calculator off to the side. I need to slant my paper, you guys. I'm so sorry if that bothers you. Let me just double check to make sure that we're still in frame with it being slanted though. Yep, we are good. I'll just have to scooch up when we get closer to the bottom. So the 17th, we don't have anything that comes out that day. The 18th, we have Canva and YouTube. Those both come out on the 18th. The 19th is Best Egg, and that'll be Best Egg 1. I do have 2 personal loans with Best Egg, so this is the first one. The 20th and the 21st, we don't have anything. The 22nd, though, is State Farm. That is our car and renter's insurance. And then the 23rd is nothing. The 24th is Spotify. 25th is dental. That is my dental insurance. The 26th is nothing. The 27th is our electric bill. And then the 28th is Amazon. 29th is Tanner's car. I actually would love your guys' opinion. So now that I'm doing the cashless cash stuffings, would you like to see my bills stuffed each week? So I don't typically stuff my bills because that wasn't something that I pulled out in cash, but with doing placeholders, would you like to see those, like what bills are coming out that week? Would you like to see those stuffed? Just leave your thoughts down in the comments below and I will see what I can do. For this first cash stuffing though, I probably won't, just because this is going to go up. I'm going to film my cash stuffing like right before this ends up going up. So for the first week, you won't see bills for sure. And then moving forward, we can adjust if that's what you guys would prefer. I'm going to take a sip of my little beverage here. I just got this today. It's the, I can't tip it too much because it's very full, but it's the Bloom Pop. It's their winter flavor. It's winter pomberry. I just got it tonight when I went grocery shopping, and holy moly, you guys, it is so good. So good. Anyways, back to the budget. So our water bill comes out on the last day of the month. That doesn't matter if it's the 30th, 31st, 28th, 29th. It will always be the last day. So the 30th, we have our water bill. And then that is also when our SiriusXM comes out. I am actually going to be pausing Tanner's SiriusXM for his car. He drives a Camaro, if you guys are new. And we live in eastern Montana where it snows a lot. So he can't drive his car for a good chunk of the, well, not a good chunk of the year. Probably like, he hasn't really driven it much in the last couple weeks. I think this weekend we're going to go wash it and then get it covered up for the season. So he won't drive it for the rest of November, December, January, February, and then maybe he'll get to drive it in March. It really just depends on the weather. Montana is very unpredictable with weather in the spring, so it just depends on if we continue to get snow. But so I will pause his SiriusXM so that we're not paying for a membership that he's not even able to use. The vehicle that he uses in the winter is his dad's truck, and it's like a 2001 Chevy truck. It doesn't have anything fancy in it, so it's not like we could just transfer his XM to the truck in the meantime. So we'll just pause it, and then we'll only be paying for mine for those 3 or 4 months, which will be nice. That'll definitely help. And I drive a lot, you guys, so that is a subscription that I'm not willing to drop. I realize that we have 3 different music subscriptions. I don't like I don't love hooking my phone up to Bluetooth in the car. It just, I don't know, that I'm just weird. I like my Sirius XM. Spotify is Tanner's music subscription. That is what he listens to at the gym. And then YouTube is my other music subscription. That's what I listen to at the gym. And we both like our subscriptions. We both have our playlists all set. It suggests us music. Neither of us are interested in switching. So that's why we have 3. Anyways, moving into the 1st. So this will be the 1st of December. We have rent. Visa is one of my credit cards. And then we have Advantage. That is Tanner's student loans. On the 2nd, we have Upstart. I also have 2 personal loans through Upstart. This is Upstart 1. The 3rd will be HBO and Netflix. And my mom actually pays for half of Netflix. And then US Bank is another one of my credit cards. The 4th, we have OneMain. That is my last student, or not last student loan, my last personal loan. Shoot. This calendar is missing the 5th, 6th, and 7th, which I don't think there's a ton on those days, but let me just double check. Let me find another month that I can peek at here. How have you guys been doing? How was your Halloween? I know I missed all of that. How was your October? Did you guys do anything fun? Did you guys hit any of the goals that you were hoping to hit? How are you all looking for holiday time? Are you stressed? Are you excited? A mixture of both. Okay, so really quickly, the 6th is internet. And then the 7th will be Upstart 2 and PlayStation. And then I'll be able to use my other sheets from here on out. So the 8th is Nissan. That's my car payment. My car lease is actually about up. It's up in April, which is just crazy to me because it was a 3-year lease, and it's just crazy that it's already been almost 3 years since I got my car. And then the 9th is Best Egg 2 and Cricket. I have some really exciting news to you guys. This is really kind of random, but I made my first couple of sales. They were not on Etsy. They actually were personal sales. I customize planners. I have not figured out the best way to list that on Etsy, but this is like a 100% customizable planner. So if you guys are ever interested in that, please let me know. It doesn't have to just be a budget planner. The ones that I've done, or that I'm working on right now, I actually have one printing right now. They are not strictly budgeting planners. So one of them is more so geared towards like household type things. So like a cleaning checklist and meal planner, grocery list, that type of thing. And then the other one that I have is for a very driven multi-business owner. So it's actually the owner of the Airbnbs that I manage. She owns quite a few other businesses in another town, and she just needed something to help her keep all of that organized. So hers actually includes a to-do list for each business each month. It includes a budget sheet, it includes debt payoff information, savings trackers, and then a weekly breakdown as well as a daily breakdown. She wanted daily because she's very, very busy every single day. And then she also requested to have a dedicated page each day to focus on like her devotionals, her faith, that type of thing. So really anything that you guys want. If you are ever interested in a custom planner, if you want to gift somebody a custom planner, please let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram or leave me a comment in any of my videos. You can also send me a message on Etsy. Anything like that works, but I basically just charge. I don't have a set price for those. I charge based on what the material costs as well as the amount of time that I spend on it. So Yeah. So that's just kind of where that is. But I did make my first 2 sales. I made one for my cousin. She purchased a planner from me. And then this one for my, I guess you call her my boss, my partner. I don't really know what you would call her. My manager. I don't know. But yeah, that's so exciting. I'm really happy that I made those sales. And kind of makes me feel like I'm doing something right, you know? Sorry about the little sniffle too, you guys. I feel like I'm fighting off a cold, like I'm fighting getting a cold. So my nose has just kind of been runny. But let's finish up the last couple days. So the 10th, there's nothing. And then the 11th, the last day that we will budget for, is our phone bills and Peacock. Okay, so that's our month. I'm going to find some highlighters so that I can highlight these and make them a little bit easier to read. So the first 2 weeks will be for Tanner's paycheck. The second 2 weeks will be this paycheck for Tanner, and we'll just kind of highlight each one individually. And that's the first set of 2 weeks. And then we have Tanner's second paycheck. I budget a little bit differently, so I do still do a weekly budget because Spark typically pays out on a weekly basis, even though I cash out every single day. Spark pays out on a weekly basis, so I just go off of that schedule. They pay out, or their weeks run from Monday through Sunday. So everything that I would earn on, let's say like the 17th through the 23rd, that's all one pay period, and it would be paid out on, I think they pay out on a Tuesday. So it typically gets paid out on Tuesday and would have hit my account on Wednesday. But I just choose to cash out each individual day right away instead of waiting until that following Tuesday. So that's usually what I do. So that's our month. Now we'll go ahead and flip over and we'll do the breakdown. This part's a little bit of flipping back and forth just because of this page being on the back, but that is okay. So Tanner's paychecks are 11/14 and 11/28. And then I don't do a date for Spark or Airbnb. And then I'm also going to do a line for extra because I have not been paid out for my manager's planner yet. So we'll go Tanner on both of these lines. Then we will put Spark, Airbnb, and then I think we'll just do TNB/extra. TNB, that's my channel. It's True North Budgets. That's my Etsy channel as well. Okay, so for Tanner's paychecks, we have been budgeting about $1,400 for his paychecks. I think his paychecks are usually a little bit more than that, but I would rather under budget than over budget just in case something happens and he has to like miss a day or something. I know he has PTO and he has sick time and all of that, but just in case. And then Spark, I shoot for 125 a day, and I Spark on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of each week. So that's 4 days, and that's $500. I'm not going to be including my Christmas budget into this because that's not something that I am going to, I just don't want to include Christmas money in Bill's money, if that makes sense. So $500 a week. There are 4 weeks, so I am budgeting $2,000 for Spark this month. And then Airbnb, I think the last time I checked, I was going to be at about shoot, I don't remember. We'll just say like 500. I think that's about where it was going to be. And then True North budgets, I am going to budget for 80 for that, because I think that's about what the planner will end up being, because she wants daily pages. It's been a lot. So I think it'll be about 80 for that. And then let's go ahead and get a total. So we have $1,400 for both of Tanner's checks, $2,000 for my Spark income, $500 for Airbnb, and then 80 for extra is $5,380. If this happens to not cover all of my bills, I'm not super concerned about it, just because I can work extra on Spark. I can do other days that I don't normally work if we need the money. I also know that I have a pretty open calendar for November for Airbnb, so we usually get a lot of last minute bookings. So I'm not super concerned if this doesn't happen to cover everything, but I'm hoping that it will. So let's go ahead and start filling these in. I just like to go in order so that I don't miss anything. First mark is a debt, so we'll put that over here. And then we have gravel is a subscription. I just realized my gym membership isn't on here anywhere. The gym comes out on the 29th. I just realized that as I was writing my workout subscription. Our date keeps changing. We have had a lot of issues with our gym membership, like pulling properly. We've tried multiple different accounts. It just, every single month it seems like there's an issue. So whatever date it ends up pulling is the date that it's due the next month. So that's just, it's been frustrating. But anyways, we have Canva is a subscription, YouTube, and then Best Egg One is a okay, I'm good. Best Egg One is a debt, and then we have State Farm is a bill. And then we go into Spotify as a subscription. And then dental is a bill. This is anything like insurance, rent, car payments, all of the necessities, like utilities, things like that. That's what I consider bills. And then the 27th, that's electric is a bill. And then Amazon is a subscription. And then we have Tanner's car and the gym. Then looking down to the 30th, we have our water bill, SiriusXM, rent, Visa, Advantage, and then Upstart One, HBO and Netflix, then we have US Bank, we have One Main and Internet. I think my One Main loan is actually almost paid off, which will be exciting because it has a pretty high payment. Upstart 2, PlayStation, and then we have my car payment, Best Egg 2, Cricket, and then the last couple things, we have Verizon, which is our phone bill, and our Peacock. Okay, so now for the numbers. State Farm, I know, has gone up. I think it's like $271. And we actually need to talk to them. Tanner sold his little truck that he never drove. He sold it to his uncle. So we need to see if that has been taken off of our insurance. It wasn't even insured because it was never driven. So we just had it sitting and it wasn't insured. But for his uncle to get it back to his house, it had to be insured so that he could drive it. So we got insurance on it. It was like $20. But we need to see if that has been removed. And then dental is $43. Electric, I'm actually going to budget like $190 for this month because it's getting chilly. We've got our heat running. Tanner's car is $875. Our water bill, I'm going to budget $60. Our rent is $875. Internet is $120. My car is $527. And then our phone bill, I don't remember what our phone bill is. I think it's $228. So we're going to budget for that. Let's go ahead and get a total for this. Because of where our income is, I just want to see how we're doing throughout the month or throughout the budget. I'll scooch this over so you guys can see. So that is $3,189. Gravel is $11. Canva is $13. YouTube is $11. Spotify, I think, is $12. Amazon is $15. The gym is $55. SiriusXM, I'm going to budget the normal $36, but I doubt it's going to end up being that because I'm going to pause Tanner's. HBO is $17. And then Netflix is $27, but my mom pays me $13, so $14. And then the PlayStation is $18. Cricket is $10, and Peacock is $11. I forgot what I typed. Holy cow, you guys. It's been a long day. Okay, so total for subscriptions is $223. Oh, I forgot to do the remaining. So we have 5380 minus 3189. We have 2191, and then we'll take out the 223. So we have 1968 left going into our debt and our variables. So for debt, my student loan is $709. Best Egg 1 is $100. Visa, I budget about $80. Advantage is $108. Upstart 1 is $36. US Bank, I budget $50. OneMain is $170. And then Upstart 2 is $78. And Best Egg 2 is $165. So, a moment of truth to see if we get to eat this month. Just kidding. I will make sure that we eat, but we'll get to see how much or how well we get to eat. So 1,496. That is not a ton left. So I'm not actually going to budget. Well, let's see here. So gas, groceries, and eating out are our variables. I spend about $20 a week in gas, so I probably only need about $80 for myself. Tanner doesn't have to get gas very much either. He just really doesn't drive very much. I drive a lot, so I would say probably about $120 for the entire month is probably good. And then I'm just gonna budget like, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe like $30 for the month for eating out. $472. And then whatever is left, I will budget for groceries, and then any extra money will go to supplement groceries, because that's just kind of where we're at. So we have minus 150. So 322 is what's going to go towards groceries for right now. And then I'll adjust that as I can with extra income. So that's basically $80 a week. I know that is very doable if we are very frugal with what we're eating. So who knows, maybe I can stick with that. I spent like $125 this week, so maybe that's not super far off. But we'll kind of go from there. I have no money left to put towards savings as of right now. So that's just kind of where we're at. This is our zero-based budget. So at the end of the month, as long as we have $0 left, I'm good with that. Week to week, we should not probably have $0 left. There should be a little bit going into the buffer. I'm actually going to fill out the first week as well, so that that's ready to go for my cash stuffing. So I guess with not really doing any savings, I guess I am going to be stuffing bills and variables. So I guess no opinions needed on that, or I guess if you really don't want to see that, then I guess let me know. But otherwise, my cash stuffings are going to be pretty boring with just my variable income, or my variable expenses. So I will do my I'll do my bills and my variables, and then I'll also stuff my Christmas money with you guys too, so that you can see that. So let's see, we have Tanner's income, and then we have Spark. I don't know when my Airbnb is going to hit, so I might actually just wait. I have somebody checking out of the Airbnb on Monday, but that will be after, so I don't know when the next, I am going to budget for that planner because I'm just about done with it, so I'll be able to get her billed. I don't know when my next payout for Airbnb is. I know it's coming up, but I don't think it's within this week. So Airbnb, or not Airbnb, sorry, Spark and True North budgets. So Spark is $500 a week and True North budgets is $80. So I'm going to do the full $580. That should be $1980. Yep. So now I'm going to go back to my calendar and look at what bills come through just in this first week. So just from the 14th to the 20th. So we have my first mark. You guys probably can't see that. I don't think I'm going to be able to get everything on screen here. I'll do my best. So we have first mark. And then we have gravel. And then Canva. YouTube. And Best Egg. And that's actually it for bills from the 14th to the 20th. So that is awesome. So we don't have any bills. That means we have the full $1980 left. And then gravel was $11. Canva is $13. YouTube is $11. First mark is $709. Best Egg 1 is $100. And then we have this week's portion of our variables. So gas, we did $120. I believe that's going to be $30 a week. Yep. So we'll do $30 for gas. And then the $322, what did I say? That was $4 or $80. Yeah, we'll do $80. And then eating out, I did $30. So that'll just be like, I'll round up and do $10 this week. So we have $935 for subscriptions, $809 for debt, and $120 for variables. So $1980 minus this $35 is $1945. And then we'll take out the $809. That leaves us with $1,101. Oh my goodness, you guys, $1,136. And then we'll take out that last $120. So that's $1,016. That will roll over into week 2. Last step, because I know my budget with me's and everything are going to be a little short with the lower income and all of that, I'm actually going to do my cash planning on here too. This budget with me is going to be pretty long because it's the entire month, but cash planning will be part of my future budget with me's also. So let me grab my cash planning sheet really quick. Okay, I am back. Cash planning notepads will be part of the launch as well. So I'm just going to write out my categories and the amounts, and then we'll fill in the denominations together. Okay, so I've got all my categories and the amounts. This category here, Christmas, that's my spark money that I've made the last 2 Thursdays that I sparked for Christmas. I don't know the exact total off the top of my head, so I'm actually going to have to go through my Spark app and figure all that out. But I do want to stuff for it in my week 1 cash stuffing, so I'm going to actually just leave this blank and then fill that in off camera. But what I do from here is I look at the amount and I figure out what denominations I need to hit that amount. So for 11, I would do a 10 and a 1. For 13, we'll do a 10 and 3 ones. 11 again is a 10 and a 1. 709, I have $500 placeholders, so I actually am going to use one of those. So I'm going to do a 500, and then I'll do a +2, just so I can remember to pull a 500. And then we'll need a 5 and 4 ones. I don't think I'm going to have enough $1 placeholders, so I might have to get creative with that. Best egg will just be 100. Gas will be a 20 and a 10. Groceries will be a 50, 20, and a 10. And then eating out will just be a 10. So then I'll go through Christmas at the end, but just to make sure that this totals up right, let's see here. So I should have $964 just with this upper section. So this would be 300s plus a 500, and then 150, 2 20s, 1 2 3 4 5 6 10s, 1 5, and then 4 7 8 9 ones. So that total is 500 plus 300 plus 50 plus 40 plus 60 plus 5 and plus 9 is 964. So we did all of that correctly. That all matches. I will go ahead and add in the Christmas, and then we'll stuff the total amount at the in our first week's cash stuffing. Goodness gracious. So that's actually going to do it for this week's budget with me, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!